Hello and welcome. I hope you're all doing all right. Today, I just want to do a quick analysis of the Bitcoin market, and I'm going to spend the rest of the stream for requests for our members. So, without further ado, let's get to it. Going to start off, obviously, with Bitcoin. Just going to grab the chart real quick. And there's a couple of things that we have to take a look at here. Remove everything. There we go. Okay. So to start off, right now, I am not in any Bitcoin position. As you can see, a lot of people don't realize this, but since February, we haven't really had a new low. So even though we are in a bear market with consistently lower tops, which is obviously how you recognize a bear market, and semi lower lows, obviously the closes go lower and lower. We haven't really breached this 6K mark set in February. And as of today, it doesn't look like we're going to. Now, what does this mean to me? This means that, possibly starting today, we're going to start trading sideways rather than trading down. And I'm just going to keep playing this pattern until we do actually breach the 6K level. And in order to really understand this market, we're just going to draw out a simple descending triangle. This is a descending symmetric triangle. Has been in play ever since, possibly January. As you can see, it quickly peaked against it over there. Touched resistance in March. In May, we didn't quite make it, but then again, in July, we got rejected again. I think, personally, the ideal way to play this is to wait for a breakout. Obviously, this could take quite a while. As you can see, this descending triangle extends all the way until November. Obviously, we want to do some trades before November. And so we're going to have to look at the short term and mostly at BitMEX, obviously. So no long-term setups from me today. On the shorter term, however, things are really starting to look more interesting. In order to understand what's going on here today, we have to look at the past. So here's the deal. Between 6,500, I would say, just going to move this up a little bit there. And 6,000 is our support zone. This is where the market could potentially provide enough liquidity for the price to reverse. I'm going to go to the volume profile. And as you can see, this pretty much is the last stop with any kind of volume. So the market is holding up pretty well. And there's two scenarios that I can potentially see happening in the near future. And I'm just going to there we go. This volume basically reaches down all the way until 5,600. That would be the low of this dump right here, which we faked out and moved back above support. Now, if the price does decide to break 6K and it actually goes below the previous low, which is like 5,700, then you should be able to see that we have a massive volume gap. There's not enough volume here for the price to basically bounce. What this means is that if we do break the 6K level, it is, in my opinion, very, very likely that we do reach the 4,500, or better said, the 4,000 level, possibly even 3,800. This is not a desirable scenario. If this happens, it's going to extend the bear market by possibly a year, if not longer. So this is definitely the no-go zone. As long as we stay out, it's fine. Doesn't mean we are not able to trade here. Obviously, if we do break this low here and we do fall into this massive volume gap, we could play this with a great short. However, this is like not desirable for me or anyone else who has any alts at all. Now, option 2, which personally I believe is more likely, is that we are going to bounce on this level yet again. And for the hourly, we're going to come there in a moment. Just a little bit larger scale view right now. If we do bounce in this zone, that would be the first higher low since, if we go to the daily, and I'm talking about closed lows, so that's this point, not this wick. This would be the first higher low in about, let's say, 8 months. And obviously that would be great news. If we do manage to come above this resistance, which we have going on right here, we do set a higher low. If this happens, I do think the chance is quite likely that we will set a higher high as well. Now, if this is the case, this could be the first sign of a bull market reversal. Obviously, we're still very much in a bear market, and we're going to continue to trade Bitcoin as if we are in a bear market. That being said, if we do set a higher low, that could mean the party's on. And the reason I'm saying this is, due to the following reason. If we look at alts, you can see that we pretty much got absolutely wrecked. Gonna start off with Ethereum. Ethereum USD on Bitfinex on the daily. And the reason I want to show you guys this is as follows. I'm going to my VPVR. I'm going to increase row size to, let's say, 50. There we go. As you can see, if we increase row size to 50, the level of 290 up till 310 contains massively more volume than all the other levels. That's why I actually made some buys here. And, quite possibly, and I'm going to say this very carefully, this could be our last hope, really our last stop before 200 USD ETH or even 50 USD ETH. Because if we look at the chart, you will see that below this massive volume tick we've got over here really is little to reverse the price all the way down to 61. So either we're going to reverse here or reverse at 200 USD. If that's not the case, then the next stop would be 60 USD. Apart from volume profiling, obviously if we just look at the chart, we just take our support and our resistance lines. We've got our last Fibonacci, the 0786, at the same level. And I really would not say that, there's any kind of structural support. Our last supports were at 390. We've got one, obviously, at 295. And then it's going to go down pretty fast, guys. It's going to be like 200, 135, and you do not want to be catching knives if it does drop this low. That being said, it seems highly unlikely to me. Doesn't mean it's impossible to happen, but I just don't feel the 60 USD Ethereum. Might be me, but it's important to consider that last year, 2017, at the start of the year, Ethereum was like $10, right? So it's 100% possible that we're gonna have to go down to 60. But obviously that would be completely undesirable and would wreck a lot of people. Reason I'm semi-bullish is due to the following reason. If we go to the hourly, you can see that ETH appears to be making some kind of a bottom here. And this is usually how long or mid-term bottoms are formed. There's a massive panic, there's a quick run up, and that would be the bottom. And if we just go to Coinigy, We're gonna check out Neo. You will see that in essence, it's kind of the same story, right? We've got this massive panic sell. Currently, we are close to the final support before this would go, to zero. And on the hourly, once again, you can see that there seems to be some kind of pattern forming here. Personally, I would say if we do manage to break 265,000 Satoshis, there would be a mini bull run for Neo. And you can see the same pattern on a lot of charts, like basically every alt. There's been a massive panic sell over the past few weeks, and it appears to be bottoming right now. I think we can at least expect a 20-30% increase into the price of Neo and all the other alts. And after that, it's going to get like really exciting, right? Obviously, as you can see in April, we've set a bottom here. We broke the bottom and then we rallied back to support turned resistance. Now, if this is the same kind of scenario, then I would say support turned into resistance is currently at 460,000 Satoshis. Just careful estimation. And I think we can expect at least a run up to these levels. If we take our Fibonacci tool, hold on, and we're gonna look for our Fib levels, you will find that personally, I think this is a little bit too high. Just going to adjust it there. You can see that the levels sort of match. Obviously, it's not perfect. But it doesn't have to be perfect. As long as it's relatively close, should all be good. So my game plan for alts, at least for Neo, which will be like a call in the campus very soon after this live stream, I'm going for an entry of 260,000. And if my game plan plays out, there will be a 71% gain to be made. Obviously, this goes for a lot of alts, so I will just sift through the alts, do a quick checkup, and see which ones are interesting. Do we have any questions for now? Is there any alts you guys want checked out? Let me know in the comments on YouTube. In the meantime, just going to do a quick checkup on EOS. $4. $4 has been my target for quite a while. You can see that's also where I marked my entry points that I do have in mind right now. Obviously, I already bought some at 650. Reason is that we did enter this trade at $1.30, and we sold it basically at $20, which is over here with the whole campus. So it is time to start new positions. For the longer term, obviously. Short term, I am not so sure if I'm excited about alts really. But just send your suggestions, put them on YouTube chat box, and I will try to do some analysis. What do I think about Lux? Well, look at it this way, right? Just gonna go over to CoinMarketCap, gonna type in Lux, and just for your information, a little bit of transparency, I still do own all my Lux, and I do not plan on selling anytime soon. Reason is this thing has a $5.5 million market cap, right? Reason they have this low market cap is because if we go to markets, you can see Cryptopia, which is crap, CryptoBridge, also crap. Now, John McAfee being the CEO, if anyone has like a good network within crypto, if anyone can get Luxcoin on some big exchanges, I would put my money on McAfee, absolutely. So you have to consider if this thing gets on a decent exchange, and they are launching like a lot of products, right? I think personally they are doing very, very well with the development. basically semi-competing against Ethereum, against EOS. And you have to consider those who are both big ICOs, so the developers really had a lot of money to launch their coin, launch their products, make it great. Luxcoin isn't doing that. They did not do an ICO, so they don't have like big stacks of millions and millions of dollars to get the coin on exchanges, develop all kind of stuff. They're just doing this themselves. And with that in perspective, I think they are doing like a super good job. And especially now McAfee is on board, I am even going to increase my position in Lux. Way more, way more than I should. But this will be one of my biggest backs together with Trade Token. And if they perform, if they deliver what they promised, this could go 100x in no time. 500 million market cap is not so much. So I've got my stacks of Lux. Right now, TA doesn't really matter, even though, TA wise, I would say this is a great opportunity to buy if you do not have any Lux yet. Obviously, you can see it's bottomed out at pre-pump levels. It doesn't appear to go any lower, and if it goes lower, that's great. Can get more coins. Trade Token, yes. So there's like a trend, right? Trade Token is an exchange coin. It's gone down pretty hard. Now, if we go, for example, to KuCoin shares, we'll see it's dumped very hard, right? If we go to BNB, Binance Coin, you will find that it's dumping very hard. Now, what's the reason of this? It's very simple. During the bull markets, Binance and KuCoin, everything, they were making millions of revenue, making more money than they knew what to do with. And obviously, they are using this money to pump their coins, their shares. Right now, during the bear market, volume has, gone significantly lower. Let me just go over here. If we open the volume, you can see that volume has dropped off quite significantly. Same trend can probably be seen in the on-balance volume. See, even though the price has gone up, the on-balance volume has not really followed. It's still hovering around that same point, right? As it was in January. So current prices are very reasonable. I think it could drop a little bit lower. But of course, this also goes for Trade Token. It's an exchange coin, so this was expected. That being said, I think Trade Token has one of the biggest potentials, given the fact that it has such a low market cap. And I think the product is great. If you haven't checked it out, just go to trade.io. You can find the liquidity pool. You can find the exchange. I think personally, this is like a really good product. So yeah, that's my stance on Trade Token. I'm just holding this for the long term, not really doing anything with it. Just leaving it at my cold storage. Next request is Lisk. Before we start, we are going to go over to CoinMarketCap. I always like to take CoinMarketCap when I'm doing alts, guys. And the reason I'm doing this is because, TA could be great. But if the overall volume is dead, then there's no point in doing any TA. So there's something we must consider here. Lisk actually is a very old coin as far as cryptos go. It was there in 2016. It's about 2 years old. And in crypto time, that is like very, very old. And it started off as a 14 million USD market cap coin, right? 16 cents. Then it pumped all the way up to like $30. That's insane gains. And all these gains, had to be realized by people buying the top. So what this means, it's very simple. Like a ton of people actually bought the tops. All these people basically got stuck in their trade. And I think it's the same thing we see with Ethereum. It's the same thing we see with, Neo. Most of the people that, have like weak hands are at this point capitulating. I think this could potentially almost be done. And this is not only for Lisk, this is for the whole market, right? And I think that's, a bounce can be in place, can be like justified. So what we're gonna do here is possibly wait for a confirmation. If we take this whole move here, obviously we're only going to take the last dump. Going to draw our fib there. Then I would say the 618 down here is a very likely target to be hit. There are two ways to play this. One is to play super safe, just set your target at the 786. Two is to take two different targets, because I would personally not, risk going for the second target and then just having a volume drop off and getting wrecked, and therefore what I would personally do if I was to enter Lisk, personally I'm not entering it, just so you know, but if I was to enter Lisk, I would just go for the first fib level, sell 70%, just make sure you have your initial investment back, have those profits, and then you can let the rest run. And the reason I'm so semi-excited for this is as follows. If we zoom in on the unbalanced volume and the volume in the chart, right? You can see that for the first time in a while, we are actually picking up volume. Now, this by itself doesn't really mean a lot, but you can see that also on the OBV, unbalanced volume, the indicator is moving up, which indicates that, more people are buying than selling. Coins are getting bought up and moving off the market. Now, this could be a bottom buy by some smart money. I don't know. But as soon as we do break the previous high, which is over here, then I would suggest it's ready for a larger run up. But this is not the case yet. So just have to be patient. Oh, Litecoin. Litecoin. This is gonna hurt, man. I'm sorry. You're gonna go over to Bitfinex. As you can see, I recently did some charting on Litecoin. Sadly, we broke down, didn't really take the trade. Now, this one is super simple as far as I'm concerned. I'm going to the daily for this. Litecoin has traded in a range of about $3, and it did so for 2 years, 3 years almost. After that, Litecoin pretty much took off and it went sky high, gained 21,000%. And I'm not much of a conspiracy theorist or whatever, but I think it's obvious that a lot of people were stacking like big stacks here, and I truly remember when Litecoin was just pumping. Somebody had like literally 1 million Litecoins on Bittrex, and he was just showing buy walls, sell walls, everything. So obviously some people made like a crazy amount of money on Litecoin, like insane. All this is probably sold off in this area, leaving again people stuck with coins they cannot sell. Now for this, we're gonna have to put it on log scale just to make it a little bit more visible. But there's a clear trend in Litecoin as far as I'm concerned. Here's resistance. Support is a different kind of story. But personally, I would say this peak right here makes for a very good first support. If we take a look at the chart, you will see that, the price had some trouble getting through this area. It bounced a couple of times when it was just below $45. Then it broke through, had a retest successfully. This wick, as you see here, was successfully bought up, then pumped. Now it's reaching the same level again. If it's going to hold, things might look a little bit more bright for Litecoin. If this level gives way, if it gets wrecked, so to say, and Litecoin drops below, then most likely I think it's going to be in a free fall, especially since, Charlie Lee said, like, hey man, I sold all my Litecoins. Coincidentally, he said it when Litecoin was at the top. So, put some question marks in my head. Doesn't really matter. What matters is this level going to hold, yes or no? I'm not putting money on this. This is like very high risk. If this level breaks, I could see like 40% drop in one day. So be careful if you own any Litecoin. As long as you're above $45, you should potentially be okay. Digibyte. Oh, I don't agree that unbalanced volume from smaller exchanges is useless, man. If you want to accumulate, and I'm speaking from like semi-experience, if you want to accumulate like a lot of coins and you have the time, then small exchanges are better because nobody's looking there. If somebody is going to buy a shit ton of coins on Binance, everybody's looking at Binance, everybody's noticing it. So that's just the way it goes. Digibyte, our good old friend. And I'm not really looking at RSI for alts now because this doesn't really mean anything at this very moment anyway. So here's the funny thing, right? We have Digibyte never really mooned. If we go over to Digibyte CoinMarketCap, you will find that although it comes from let's say 2 million USD, pumped all the way to 1 billion. This is not something natural. This is like insane. I think everybody who bought this top already got out like last year. This is ancient history. That being said, if we do look at the times past this major pump, just for your consideration, this went from a $2 million market cap on, March, let's say April the 1st, to a $1 billion market cap at its peak. If I can catch the damn peak. Can't even catch it. Here you can see. So this $500 million market cap basically happened in 1 month. 1.5 months. Now, if you do $500 million, and this is like very simple, but just for your consideration, divided by 2 million. Oh, $500 million divided by 2 million. Not really working for some reason. That's a 250 times increase. That's a 25,000% pump. So I'm just leaving this out. I'm doing this on more coins than just Digibyte. I'm doing that on Stratus as well. I don't consider this true history. We just look at the post major pump times. You will see that it's been trading basically in the same range. This is a 200% difference ever since last year. What this means for me is that Digibyte really has, you know, a lot of potential left. The funny thing is the potential is not in Bittrex, the potential is not in Cryptopia. Potential might be a little bit on HitBTC. You've got Huobi. Qcoin obviously went to shit volume-wise. OKX is decent. Poloniex is decent. But what this thing is missing, as far as I'm concerned, is Binance. I truly believe that once Digibyte gets on Binance, the sky is the limit. But obviously, Binance is not really keen on adding coins like this. I think Binance is mostly making its business from adding new ICOs, given the fact that they charge like 2 million, 3 million, 5 million USD. That's their core business, right? So is this getting on Binance anytime soon? I don't think so. I just do know that I want to be in case it does. Therefore, I have a small stack. Day trade wise, there's a good swing position to be had from this. And I'm just looking at 2018 right now. It's very simple as far as I'm concerned. Anything below just broadening the range a little bit. Anything below 300 is considered a buy for me. Anything below 600 is considered a sell. That's how I personally trade this. It's not very exciting, it's just mostly boring and waiting. But there is a possibility to trade this coin. It's just not, very rewarding. Unless, of course, you're looking at the long term. I do expect like $1 billion market cap for Digibyte. It just might take like a very long time. GRS, kind of the same story. No, it's not very exciting, to say the least, to trade this coin. That being said, obviously there is a super clear support, super clear resistance. Basically, this is the channel that GRS is currently trading in. Now, if you draw your support resistance, just make it very easy. Pop a couple of lines, make 2 channels. If it's in the bottom channel, you buy. If it's in the top channel, you sell. So as of today, I would personally consider this a buy. And if I was going to trade GRS, I would just wait, buy it here, let it run, and set my sells close to this top line right here. You can draw this yourselves. It's not very difficult. Just go to coinergy.com, take out your trend line. Very simple. Put down those lines and set your buys, set your sells, and wait. Once again, very boring game, but relatively profitable if you just repeat it. ZRX, that's a good one. Personally, one I'm pretty excited about. I think Binance has the longest history. Yeah, okay. So, ZRX. PA-wise, a little bit boring. Just broke support, as you can see here. This is something that everybody should have in their portfolio, and I'm just going to say why. You can remember the tweet from Coinbase, like, we are exploring the possibility to add these coins. One of them was ZRX. Now, if we go to ZRX, we go to team, should be somewhere about here. Okay, so these guys, every guy you see here has a lot of coins. Okay, advisors have a lot of coins. Now, advisor, first one, co-founder of Coinbase. Okay, second one, founder of Polychain Capital, first hire at Coinbase. So obviously, third one, Linda, previously PM at Coinbase. So Coinbase has a lot of interest, or at least the owners, the employees of Coinbase have a lot of interest in this coin. Now, if you're like the founder of Coinbase, right? You have a shit ton of 0x. What are you gonna do? You're gonna put 0x on your platform on Coinbase. Easy. That's the main reason why I'm so big in 0x. I have a relatively good stack. It's mostly for the long term, but I'm super bullish. Short term, I wouldn't buy this right now. Broke support. If you're just a day trader, there's better things to look at. For the long term, it's very, very spicy. Modo, also something that I'm very fond of, FA wise. That being said, it's really looking grim. It's on the edge here. Let me draw support. As far as I'm concerned, this is the last support that's there for KMD, apart from obviously the all-time low here, which is sitting at 6,000. I think it's a great project. I think the fundamentals are on point. I just don't think I would buy this right now. The risk is very, very high that it's going to break through here. Already tested once, only got one small green candle as a reaction, and then it started dumping again. So be very careful. Think about your funds. If we do get a bullish reaction from this, and I mean just a general break of resistance right here, then I would consider to buy this again. But I'm sorry, it's just the way it is, right? It's just how it is, and I cannot change it. Last one, OMG. I would not personally buy Omisego. Absolutely not. I think it's a little bit overhyped. The way this chart looks. And I just want to chart this on Binance for the unbalanced volume people that were not happy. It's there's not really much TA to be done on this. Obviously we've got our supports and resistances. Here we've got our resistance line, very simple, unconfirmed. For your information, you need 3 confirmations for resistance to be valid. We only have 2 confirmations here. Now, as you can see, this was support. Support is broken. So we're going to have to look at horizontals. I'm going to do that right now. Take our horizontal ray. We've got a potential support at 42,000. Let me go to options. This is the first level I would consider buying this at. After which, the next real support would be like 2,000 or 20,000, excuse me, 20,000 Satoshis. This represents like a 50% drop, so it's not something that I would personally risk. Oh, guys, what are you sending my way, guys? Okay, XRP. Like, I'm sorry, I don't like XRP. I think it's crap. Honestly, technical analysis. What kind of technical analysis do you expect from a chart that looks like this? Obviously you can see some horizontal levels. I don't really think I'm needed to point these out. Anything between 3,000 Satoshis and 1,000 Satoshis would be considered a buy. And considered a buy, I'm saying this due to the fractals we have here. Obviously, these are very, very clear fractals. Only takes 1 second to see them. But the problem with this setup is that it's not based on any, you know, true TA. There's no descending wedge, no inverted head and shoulders, no nothing. This is just purely based on a fractal, and fractals end. A fractal only happens so many times before it ends. And probably everyone is looking at this like, okay, so it's gonna do the same thing again, which means it will not probably do the same thing again. So yeah, I don't recommend buying this. Bet, basic attention token. That's something I do actually like. Never pumped. Let me find the longest history. I believe it's Bittrex. Yeah, it's Bittrex. There we go. Basic attention token. Bet. Personally, I think this product is great, but I think it is missing like a real, use case that's going to change the world. All right, I do like the browser. The browser is like great, but is it something that's going to revolutionize everything, revolutionize the world? I don't know. That's not really important. 99% of blockchain products aren't going to revolutionize the world, but people have to think that the product is going to revolutionize the world. Okay, that's why people buy stuff. They buy stuff because they think, like, okay, this is going to be massive. Can make a lot of money on this, and that really is something that I am missing. Just so to say, I'm missing the hype. I'm missing the world change factor, and believe it or not, it doesn't matter in crypto if you have a good product. Only marketing matters, and obviously your products cannot be total shit, but as long as you have a semi good product and great marketing, look at Tron, you can go to the moon. Okay, I don't think BAT is ready to go to the moon yet. I think they're gonna have to work a little bit on how they present it, on their marketing, getting people involved. And, this can be seen by the volume, 4 million USD volume, which means the interest is relatively low. I cannot truly see any kind of other massive volume spikes for 2018. 2017 was a different story, obviously, but that's just the way it is. Even on Binance, the volume is relatively meh. It's not great, and I'm just missing the factor of hype, of greatness. Lux, for example, it's got McAfee, and it's not performing like mega good right now, but it's getting there. And I'm just missing the bad feel. Know what I mean? So I think it's a great product, but I think it's going to take at least maybe a year before people realize that it's a great product, and then yet they have to push on some marketing, some hype, like Tron is doing, or VeChain. So that's basically my main problem right now. The way to play this is very simple, as far as I'm concerned. If this high breaks, then it's ready for moon. It's only a small difference. It's like 100%, and people might think, holy shit, 100%, that's a lot. People, the 100% gain in alts is nothing. If you made 100% gain in a year during a bull market, you must be the worst trader ever. Look at Neo here. for just some examples of what I mean here. Here, this is like 38,000%. EOS, you know, same story here, 3,000%. What else do we have? TRX, Tron, total shit. Okay, I cannot really find it. The first exchange. Yeah, here, there it is. Okay, so here, same story, 15,000%. Litecoin, you know, same story in essence. Here, like 1,000%, you know, and that's what you have to aim for during bull markets. That's why I keep hammering on Lux, you know, low market cap, 5 million USD. Everybody knows it. You know, there's not a single person in crypto that probably doesn't know Lux due to everyone following John McAfee. Trade token, you know, same story, 50 million market cap. So that's what you have to start looking for. And I think I'm pretty much done now. Let me just fix this. So there we go. You know, that's what you have to do during the bear market. If it's a bear market, just wait. I think we're probably already over halfway of the bear market. Start looking for those coins that have like 10 million market cap, 15 million market cap. Let's say you put 1,000 USD, $1,000 into 10 different coins, you know, so that's $10,000. 9 of them get wrecked. One of them goes 100x. Now you have $100,000. You know, that's a 1 out of 10 chance you took. Now, obviously, 9 coins aren't getting wrecked. You know, if you've got 10 projects you're investing in, maybe 2 will die, 3 will do nothing, 2 will pump, and 1 will be great. You know, and that's basically how I try to do it. I take this large cycles, like large bull markets, large bear markets, and in bear markets we just do BitMEX, have some fun. You know, there is a lot of money to be made from full-time BitMEXing. Look at Lion, look at Corpse. But my personal game is to BitMEX during bear markets, scoop up all those alts that went down like 95%, whatever. Find new alts that just came out for $10 million market cap. Obviously, ICOs aren't going so well right now. So all the new coins, no matter how good they are, will come out at a low market cap. Pick those up, choose 10 different coins, and then just wait. And that's how I've been doing it for the past few years. Relatively successful. And, you know, I will be looking to share this with you guys as soon as we enter the new bull market. So I've got my portfolio in the Crypto Campus. Obviously, you can check it out. It's filled with coins that I believe have potential. Obviously, I could be wrong. Obviously, there might be much better coins which you could pick. So feel free to send me a message. Also, if you have any questions, make sure to visit the Discord. Just DM me, whatever. And I wish you guys happy trading. I hope this will be a great week.